This is Dan. No, this is Dan. He's about to record his guitar with the newly downloaded Amp Simulator, but something's not quite right. Finally, this plugin will make me sound like Brian May. I can't wait. Does this sound familiar? Have you ever tried to record the guitar but there is no sound at all? Well, in this video I'm going to explain all it takes to be able to record the guitar inside Ableton Live using plugins like Guitar Rig 7, Amplitude or any other amp simulator you love. We'll start from the super simple stuff, and at the end we'll focus on how to save the day when you literally tried everything and there's still no sound coming out of your guitar. Let's go. Oh, and by the way, Brian May's skills are not guaranteed after watching this video, so you'll probably still need to practice. But anyway, let's go. Okay, so first thing you'll actually need is a working electric guitar, like this one. Make sure the input jack or input socket is actually working fine properly, it's not loose, and then make sure your volume knob is all the way up. Simple stuff, obvious. Second thing down the line will be the line, so a cable. So you'll need a nice good quality cable with nice good quality input jacks, and then make sure they're not broken, like this is already kind of falling apart and it's crackling under movement, so I've got myself a new one. Orange. I love orange. Now the next thing you will really need for recording is a computer with a DAW software, which stands for Digital Audio Workstation. So basically any software that would allow you to record your sound into your computer. So we want to record the guitar. Ideally, if this software would support VST plugins, so then you can modify your sound, add some effects and amp simulators that we will be talking about a little bit later. And the next super important, actually crucial element to record a guitar into a computer is a USB audio interface. This is a little device that can translate your signal coming from your guitar to the digital signal that computer understands, and therefore it can record. Very useful, and it also helps your computer with signal processing, so saves your CPU a little bit. There are different audio interfaces. Some have better preamps, so your guitar will sound better. Some have some extra effects compressors in it. iRig or Focusrite, Scarlett Solo that I'm using, they're absolutely fine for recording your guitars. And of course, you will also need something that you can hear your guitar in, so whether that be speakers or a nice set of headphones like these. Make sure they're not Bluetooth because that will cause a little bit of latency. Really hard to play in Bluetooth headphones. Okay, now we're going to connect our guitar to the USB audio interface. So we have this input here, plug the guitar in, press the instrument button because it's an instrument. And now we want to adjust the gain of the input. So let's play the guitar really loud. And we see it's red, so we don't want it to clip. We want to adjust the volume so it can only touch the orange or stay green completely. Yeah, that will be fine. Perfect. And this will allow very high quality of recording and our levels to be consistent, and will make sure the sound is not clipping, so it's not distorting if we don't want to. Now let's see what settings can we change inside Ableton just to make sure everything is working properly. First we want to go to the preferences or settings, in case of Ableton to the audio tab, and we have this little part here. So we have driver type. In case of MacBook or Mac, it will be Core Audio. If you have Windows, it will be probably something like ASIO, Focusrite, depending on which manufacturer's USB interface do you have. So let's leave it to Core Audio, and then audio input device. This is really important. We want our sound to come into the computer and be able to record it. So we need to change this to our USB interface, in this case Scarlett Solo USB. It says here that it has 2 inputs and 2 outputs. 2 inputs will be microphone and guitar, for example. 2 outputs will be basically left and right channel. And then audio output device, we can also set this to be Scarlett Solo, because USB audio interface can also output the sound to your speakers or headphones. Now this looks really good. We have all the setup done properly, so let's close this. And then now we want a new audio channel. In case you wouldn't have, there are some already by default, but we want to make a new audio channel. In order to do that, we'll just right click and press insert audio track. And that's how it's gonna look like. So we have new audio track, which basically is reserved for recording our guitar or any other instrument. In this case will be guitar. So what do we need to set up? First, we need to look at that little mixer here. First up is the input type. So we want our guitar coming from the outside, like an external source. So we leave external input. Now the second thing is the input channel, and we have different channels in terms of Focusrite Scarlett, so probably any other USB audio interface will have a couple or even more of the input sources. So this channel for guitar is channel number 2. We see the channel number 1 is bouncing while I speak, and if I don't speak it's not bouncing, which means this is actually a microphone. So we don't want that. We want to listen to our guitar, which is on channel number 2. Let's click this and let's play something. Now we see the signal coming into the channel number 2. It goes a little bit into orange, so we can fine tune that in our USB interface. And finally, the monitoring. Monitoring is very important. It means if we want to hear our guitar, or do we not want to hear our guitar or any other instrument that we are actually playing through. So in this case, it's off. So we don't hear our guitar. We see the volume's actually active, but we don't see any output coming into the mixer. So what we want to do now is to change it to in. It will constantly pass our signal through the computer to the speakers or headphones. Let's press in and finally let's hear the guitar. Okay, we have the sound. That's actually perfect. What about the auto? So the auto means that the instrument would only be audible when we have our track armed for recording, so like ready for recording. Because if we'll press the arm recording, it will just prepare our track to be recorded. So if we hit the main record button, it's going to record from this track only at the moment. So if we have auto and we have this recording armed, we will still hear our guitar. Perfect. And then if you're ready, you can load your favorite guitar amp simulator like Guitar Rig 7 or Amplitude. Let's do this now. Let's find Guitar Rig 7. I'm just typing it in and we have Guitar Rig 7. And let's drop it onto our audio track with our guitar. Here we are. Does it work? It does, but it just lets the signal through. So we want to find some presets. So let's go to input sources, guitar. Let's find something like Rockseeker. Working fine. Sounds very good. Perfect. We can add some effects and we can check other presets which are also working. Some are a bit quiet, some are a bit louder, but everything is working fine. Let's check the other. Let's check Amplitude. Make sure you'll delete the Guitar Rig 7 from here. Let's try Amplitude. Let's find a cool preset. Working fine. Perfect. But what if the sound is a little bit glitchy and it's not actually sounding really good? What can we do? It probably means that your CPU is slightly overloaded. So first things first, we do hear the guitars, everything's working, but let's say the sound is very glitchy. First thing we want to check is go to the Ableton settings and go to the audio tab as well and check the latency. So the buffer size is really important. It means how much of the samples or how many of the samples can be processed at a time. So the lower the number of the samples, the latency will be smaller, but it will be more difficult for the CPU to process it. 128 or 256 will be just a good amount for recording or playing. 256 will actually include a tiny bit of latency, but it is not too bad. You can experiment with that and just set up whatever your computer can take. And finally, when everything is ready, you can just hit the record button. You can go to this view here, hide the browser, and we can just simply press the record. Everything sounds great. So in case you still don't have the sound, let's do simple troubleshooting. Let's start from the beginning. Let's check your guitar, plug it to the amp and see if it's working. See the cable. Does your Focusrite or any USB audio interface working? Is it blinking? Do you have the signal coming in? Then if it's properly plugged into the computer, and does a computer see it as I showed before? And if these things are working, just make sure you have all the inputs set up here in the Ableton. So I go settings, make sure you have audio input device set to your USB interface, and then audio output device to USB interface. Then also check if you have the right track armed. So if this track is armed, or at least you have the monitoring in, and you can hear the guitar. Also make sure you have all the levels properly set up and they're not silenced or not muted. Let's say we can have this channel solo. You'll not hear the guitar. So just unsolo it, make sure the track is active. Then you'll be able to hear the guitar properly. This basically should work. But in case it's still not working, We can figure it out in the comment section down below. And if you want to stay up to date with all the news from the music production world and know some cool Ableton Live techniques, you can just subscribe to our newsletter. The link is in the description box down below, and it's free. Why not? Okay, the next thing you want to probably think about if you want to record a guitar and sound like your favorite idol, you can just download some Amp Simulator. And what Amp Simulator can you download? Well, there is a free version of Guitar Rig 7. You can watch this video here in which I explain how to download, how to install, and how to use the Guitar Rig 7 free version. That's it from me for today. Thanks so much for watching, and see you guys next video. Cheers!